Yells!
Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 81 of Classic Leet. And this week it's myself, Scott, hosting, and we have Dustin, who's also known as Vognasty, and Josh, who we call the Gooch. What's going on, guys?
I don't want to say I'm pumped because I say that every week, but I am pumped. So, imagine I said something clever.
All right, sounds good. What about you, Josh?
Imagine I said something more clever, and we all went, ha 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 ha.
Perfect. I'll have to edit in like a laugh track or something for everybody.
Yeah.
So, well, we just want to give a quick shout out before we get things going to Doghouse Systems. We need to remind everybody that if you use the promo code CLEET, you get $25 in Jinx Gold. Same promo code works at j2games.com for 20% off your entire purchase. We have, 2 weeks now left for the Mass Effect 3 giveaway. Again, that's for anybody in the world, wherever you are, on any platform it's available for. We will send it to you. Again, that's through our website, classicleet.com. Just look for a logo, and you'll be able to enter the contest through Rafflecopter. Make sure to sign up for the forums at yoush.com. And we also want to say what's up to gamefire.com. That's FIRA.com. Because they're hosting some of our stuff, which is really cool. So thanks a lot, Chris. We appreciate it, man. And that's pretty much it for the introduction. And guys, I think we should jump into news that worked out really well last week. So Dustin, you have some pretty interesting stuff here to talk about.
Yep. First on the agenda, we have an active duty Marine that has developed his own video game. It is called I Shall Remain, and it is a zombie survival top-down kind of game, and you can actually play the prologue for free if you go to ishallremain.com. But he has spent $40,000 trying to make this game happen, so hopefully it's a success. He farmed most of the design out to, let's see, what was it, Romanian programmers?
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, Romanians for the art design and programming.
Wow.
But he is he's currently stationed in Hawaii, and he based the lead character on a captain that he served with in the Philippines doing something.
That's crazy. I hope that he is like on a porch or like a balcony if he's in Hawaii developing a game. I hope he's at least taking advantage of the nice weather.
No joke.
You know? Like I was picturing someone stuck in like a bunker in the desert or somewhere like really remote. So he's like, I've got nothing better to do. I'm going to make a game. But man, I gotta be honest. If I was stationed in Hawaii, I don't even think I could muster up a podcast once a month, with all the stuff that there is to do. So that's some real dedication. You know, he's pretty focused.
It says here he's the boss, sound designer, and marketer. So I don't really think he's doing that much. I think it's mostly the Romanians that are.
Oh, gotcha.
So you're probably like, he comes in from surfing and emails them and say, how's it coming? And they're like, yeah, it's good.
And so he's pretty much got the world by the ass then.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, sweet, man. And I did see also that you put down here that Magical Game Factory had some announcements, which is really, really exciting.
Yeah, you pretty much prophesied exactly what they're doing last week when you talked about, was it Double Fine using the funds to create the game and how that could affect development in future, in the industry's future, and that's pretty much what Watermelon Games is doing. You can invest, and as you invest, you can give your input as to what the game is going to be like, and it's kind of like piecemeal video games. And I'm pretty interested to see how this is going to go.
Yeah, it's going to be different projects. It looks like I'm on the site in the factory, and I haven't poked around a whole bunch, but man, it's really, really cool to see that someone's actually implementing this. That's what's great about indie gaming, though. is that with the power of the internet, people can get stuff like this going. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So.
And it says that you can, if you invest enough, you'll get like an investor's edition of the game.
Which makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And they compare it to the Prestige edition, Posterity edition of Pure Solar.
So very cool. Yeah, I was listening to another podcast, and they were speculating about how to use different coding to get around, not to get around, but actually protect consoles from being able to play used games and all that kind of stuff. And I just think that this is an easier way to deal with that kind of stuff. Just let people choose and then make digital games cheaper.
Yeah.
Just awesome. I love Watermelon. They're sweet.
Yeah. Oh,
and I'm definitely going to be investing in this and you know, putting something down on the project because it's going to be high quality. And I don't know. Do they have any other information other than it's an action RPG?
Well, from the email they sent me, from what I understand, eventually you'll be able to give your own input for a video game and then invest in it, and they'll tailor the video game as per your order.
Oh, I gotcha. Wow, these guys can make me a platformer. Be unreal.
We should make a classic Leap platformer.
Yeah, that's what we should do.
Classic
Holy crap.
Leap, the game.
Holy crap. That's amazing.
Then we can make a movie about the game and then a game about the movie.
Be perfect. And what's crazy is we have this incredible guest on, Richie Branson, which towards the end of the interview you'll hear that he's actually inserting himself into a fighting game, which is really, really exciting to hear about. So maybe we could get him to help us out with getting a Classic Elite game going.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So, heck yeah. And I guess I might as well just mention it now. Richie Branson, who you heard last week, provide the music for Skywalkin, came on the show and did an awesome interview. It's about 25 or 30 minutes long, and it was just a lot of fun. So, I'll get to a little bit of more of a preview with that, here in a second. But, Dustin, is there anything else going on at, Watermelon, as far as this project's going, or any other news with them?
I think that is that.
Cool. We'll see if we can get Seb or one of the guys on the team on. Zeb was awesome to do the Pure Solar interview, so I'd love to hear what's going on, behind the scenes with this project. It'd be really cool. So we next see some information here about Target having some great clearance deals, and what's that all about?
That's another one of mine. Every Target I've ever been in, they have clearance where it's on an end cap, some crazy corner of the store, they don't want you to find it.
Yeah.
And for an example, this weekend this week I found 3 Modern Warfare 3 branded Xbox 360 controllers for $30 a piece.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I got three controllers for $90 when usually you get one for $60.
That's a really nice deal, and brand new, right?
Yeah, brand spanking new. And you always, I found a couple of games still sealed for $5, like Brutal Legend, which is actually a Double Fine game.
Oh,
I got
cool.
it brand new for the 360 for $5.
Nice. That's awesome.
So
no, I don't have a Target here in Findlay. What about you, Gooch? Do you have down in Kentucky?
Oh yeah, we have everything down here. I mean, we have Target, we have Walmart, we have meth. We're not like you guys in Ohio, Cincinnati Reds, piece of crap. Yeah, no, I love the Target end cap. I go down there and I find random stuff all the time. It's just 45 minutes away, so I'm up there once every month.
Yeah, that's the closest Target for me is about 45 minutes to an hour away. So it's not worth it to drive an hour for the hopes of a clearance rack. But that's awesome that they've got all this gaming stuff there. Does Target do any clearance stuff online? Probably not.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because if they're trying to get rid of Modern Warfare controllers, it'd be great to get one to dedicate to my PC. So, yeah, very cool. And the next thing we have to do is take maybe about a 20-second break here and show you guys something absolutely incredible. Alright, so how incredible is that music, Gooch? I know that you just heard it on the break for the first time.
The music is really good. What blows me away is just the visual. Having no idea what I'm going into, I see all those drives flipped upside down, wired in what had to have been a nightmare to do, and a microphone.
Yep.
It was incredible.
Yeah, and what you just heard was, what is that, eight floppy drives all wired together, hooked up to a microphone and a system running MIDI files. And it's incredible. This guy, the composer on YouTube is Sammy, the number 1, A-M. S-A-M-M-Y, the number 1, the letter A, the letter M. Incredible stuff. Dustin, how did you come across particularly Gerudo Valley?
I think I saw this. Someone posted it on Facebook.
Oh, cool.
So I just followed the link.
Yeah, it was funny. I was on Skype and I sign in, and you had sent me this when I wasn't signed in. So I checked it out. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And a couple hours later, I was talking with Shintai, and he's like, oh, you've got to check this out. And I said to him, oh, Dustin already sent that to me. He's like, I didn't get this from Dustin. So it was making the rounds on the internet, and I feel like I've seen this exact setup before in a different song. But Gerudo Valley is incredible. It's so good. So yeah, if anybody wants to check out that YouTube channel, there's lots of songs, and it looks like he takes requests. If you have a MIDI file, looks like he can get something done for you. So it's pretty sweet.
He also has the software and a tutorial available if you're interested in trying it yourself.
Oh, there you go.
If by chance you have 8 floppy drives and a lot of free time.
Some people just, instead of like talking to people on the internet, they could make music.
I wish a lot more people would do that.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point. So, and we had been talking recently on the show about Far Cry, Dustin. That's one of your favorite games. And you've got some info here about a new Far Cry trailer, right?
Yeah, it just came out today, and it's pretty awesome. It's using, I don't think it's using an engine. I think it's computer generated, but still it gives you more back story than the previous trailer did.
So what are you expecting so far? What are your thoughts on what Far Cry 3 is going to be?
It looks like it's going to blend, or what I'm hoping is it's going to blend the gameplay of the second one with the setting of the first one.
Nice. Well, that's cool. Like I said, I'd never gotten into to the series, so I'm interested to hear your thoughts on it and kind of follow it vicariously a little bit. So I don't think I'm going to be jumping in either. But good deal. And Dustin, is there any other news that you wanted to cover, man, before I jump into my Nintendo stuff?
I think that's it.
No. Gooch, did you have any new stuff that you wanted to bring up?
Not really. I think the only thing that I caught this week, like I said, I've been kind of busy, was the David Jaffe leaving Eat, Sleep, Play. That's hard to say.
It is.
It is.
And it rhymes. But yeah, he's leaving that. Now that Twisted Metal's finished, and I was kind of shocked. I'm like, wow, he's leaving that company. And I wasn't shocked. Yeah, he formed, but I mean, the guy is kind of a dick in anything I've ever seen him in or heard him on. I mean, honestly, he seems like not a bad guy. He's just kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
And it's like, whatever. He got his money. He's out.
Yeah, I guess I haven't heard it talked about in that context. I've heard that news, but everyone's speculating like, oh, the game must be awful. Twisted Metal must be terrible. if that guy's going to leave or whatever. But hearing you talk about it, you're like, I think he was just being a jerk.
Well, not a jerk, so I just don't think he's like invested. He's like,
yeah,
I did this thing because they demanded it and we had to have it, and it's out, and I'm leaving,
yeah,
whatever. But the game has been kind of like hit or miss, it seems, on reception so far. It didn't have quite the splash that like Black did when it came out.
Yeah.
So.
Good deal. Well, as I was telling you guys before we started recording, it looks like Nintendo is jumping on the DLC bandwagon, which is, in my opinion, actually a really cool, really good thing. I believe it was a couple days ago they released a photo application in Japan as kind of their first paid DLC. And the rumors I keep hearing are that Mario Kart 7 and Mario 3D Land are going to be some earlier titles that will have some DLC available. So, Gooch, I really want to get your thoughts first on, I guess, maybe what you'd predict, or are you happy? Are you sad? What's your gut telling you hearing that Nintendo is actually going to have some DLC and moving forward, so what they're going to be doing?
I think it's about damn time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, I'm not even going to think about it. This is the first I've heard about it. I'm going to kind of tune it out because I think it's going to take them a while to catch up. I just don't predict them coming out with awesome DLC immediately.
But I also think because of that maybe they won't release, armor packs. It might... When it's DLC, I think it'll be real DLC at first.
So you don't think, Mario 3D Land's going to get, a horse armor pack, day one?
No.
Because it should. That would be doing it right.
Rip them off right away.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty excited about getting, some more levels and stuff. What about you, Dustin? What are your thoughts on it?
I'm really interested to see what, the Nintendo spin on DLC is. The Wii is the Nintendo spin on consoles.
Yeah.
I want to see what their version of downloadable content is.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting. I hope that I really hope that they do it right, and I hope that Nintendo's always taken the approach that they want to release complete games. So I really think that that at least at first they're going to be tailoring it towards really enhancing games. So when you have a 3D Land, it'll be like you unlock World 9. You just have more levels to play. Or Mario Kart 7, you might have some new tracks or whatever. I don't know. I hope that they're not out of the gate there's 8 new carts to buy or new characters to buy in Mario Kart 7. I hope that it's actual substantial content. I think that it will be substantial content though. Let me ask each of you guys that. Gooch, what would you think? Do you think that they'll get it right? Do you think they'll release crap first?
I think they're going to get it half right.
Just half?
I just don't know. I'm wondering, have they planned this from the beginning? How far ahead did they think when they made the 3DS and the hardware and, the software? Is it going to be is it going to come naturally and intuitively into Mario 3D Land or Mario Kart 7? Or are you going to have to go find another channel and launch that?
That's a good point. You've got a good point there. And I have absolutely nothing to base my optimism on other than the fact that eventually people get things right just by dumb luck. And I don't know. I think that it might be all right. Dustin, what do you think? You think that it'll be smooth? You think it'll work?
I think that if any company could do it, I think it would be Nintendo. That it would come out right out of the gate worth something to spend your money on. But at the same time, the internet is the one place that Nintendo is yet to go. So
that's true. Yeah. So far, my experience with the eShop on 3DS has been really good. So maybe that has something to do with my optimism as well. So I guess, guys, let's transition and talk about what we've been playing this week. Gooch, what have you been up to?
I'm pretty much a broken record this week. I am playing more Saints Row the Third, which is still amazing, by the way, and Kingdoms of Amalur. I think I'm like 10 hours into that game, just chalking in like an hour or two every night. I can't stop getting items. Like the story is totally convoluted and confusing. The gameplay is okay. The game is really like in between like Oblivion and Fable, but it's got loot. There are so many items. It's like Diablo. It's crack. Constantly running like, what's in that chest? What's in that log? If I stab this guy in the face, what can I pull out of his ass? Will it be the amazing sword of whatever? I gotta know.
That's cool, man.
That's lame. I am. That's sad.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got to tell you, going around and finding stuff like that. Yeah, I'm not gonna get that game. That's Kingdoms of Amalur, right? That you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. It's more like, it reminds me more of like Torchlight or Diablo than it does Oblivion in a lot of ways, just because of that. That's the driving force behind the game, is getting new stuff. When that runs out, that game will no longer be fun for me.
So why do you like Saints Row so much?
Because it's effing insane. Every moment there's something new that I'm discovering, finding, you fight these giant, and this is giving a small spoiler away, so if you don't want to ruin the narrative that is Saints Row the Third, then you were listening to the Ron podcast. So, what was it? There's these clones, right? You start fighting these giant guys who all look the same, and they're like hulking beasts, right? And you're like, man, this is not natural. And then the way the story progresses is you find out that they're all clones of some guy who is a giant hulking beast. And when you find him, though, he's naked.
Is it like Watchmen?
Yeah.
Like Dr. Manhattan?
That kind of thing. You don't see his wiener. It's all blurred out, but it's like little. Like it's obviously very little. And they don't shy away from that. It's just a very small blur of this giant hulking monster of a man. And when you're going through this, place and you free him and he joins your side, you were like, do you want to find some clothes? He's like, no time. So you play through the entire mission with this guy naked. It is awesome. And then, a lot of the side quests and stuff get really ridiculous. Like a couple hours into the game, I'm flying a helicopter shooting missiles, and then 3 hours into the game, 4 hours into the game, it gives it to me. I don't have to earn it. I don't have to play to the end of the GTA 4 storyline to get an amazing helicopter that fires missiles. It's only the tip of the iceberg. It's just crazy. Like, I don't want to ruin too much more, but, I mean, pimps with holes in their throat that talk through auto-tune. I said that last time, but I can't stress that. That is amazing.
That cracks me up that you've fallen in love with that.
Yeah, like it's just the absurdity of the game. The what do you call those like spikes that come out of like a Trojan? What do you call it?
Like a bat or whatever.
Huh? Like they do like the chariot races.
Yeah.
And on the wheels, they would have these whatever spikes come out of the wheels, and that would jack up the other racers, right? You know what I'm talking about? Like those little spikes.
Yeah.
You get that in Saints Row. It's like an upgrade you can buy for every single freaking car. So you just drive down the street, jacking people's knees up and, flattening tires on cars. I have so much fun driving down the street, hitting the button that focuses the camera backwards. So I'm kind of like watching myself drive and seeing everyone behind me. And I like to hit
like in the 80s when we sat in the back of station wagons.
Yeah, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And I have those spikes out, and I'm just flattening tires and watching people fly off bridges and motorcycles do flips. And I'm laughing. I'm just cracking up, all with my character who is dressed up like a soccer mom the entire time.
Oh, that's great. That's pretty funny.
It's really cool. But anyway, enough about that. Since I'm talking, I might as well go on into this thing here. I'm really stuck on this. Like, gaming-wise, I've decided I want to make a purchase, and I'm really torn between the 3DS and the Vita. I mean, there's like over $100 difference between the two. And I need help, guys. What would you point me towards?
Well, I'm biased. I just bought a 3DS, so I've got the novelty and the newness of it right now. And I have never played a Vita, so... but I will say this, that the price point on the 3DS seems to be, just for the hardware, pretty good. But I've heard a lot of complaints so far on the peripherals of the Vita, it being actually a pretty expensive console with the memory cards, like 4 gigs being $30 or something like that. I don't know if if budget matters, then I think that 3DS is kind of a no-brainer. But if you're not going to be looking at budget, then Then it might be a pretty tough call. What do you think, Dustin?
I agree with your assessment that if budget is what you're pretty much your determining factor, you should probably go the 3DS. But if you're willing to spend a little more, I've always been happy with Sony's devices.
So I don't know. Like I feel like the Vita is. I know that a lot of people have complained that it's too much like a console, so it's going to have a lot of launch games that are older PS3 games, but they're putting themselves in a really good position, I think, to have a lot of the capabilities that the Wii U will have. So, since you already have a PS3, the integration of the two, I think, is probably going to be done really well. And the PS Vita may actually really enhance like your entire home gaming experience. So, from that perspective, it might be worthwhile, because if you're not planning on getting a Wii U at all, you've mentioned that your son is a 3DS, so if you're not dead set on some particular titles and you're just itching to buy, a new handheld, then you have to really, really look hard at the Vita.
I'm looking
Tony's
hard
getting
at it.
one.
Yeah, I talked to him about it a little bit, and he the thing about Tony, I love the guy, but he gets so like pumped up about new hardware and stuff. He's always wanting to, be on the cutting edge and see the new stuff. Yeah. And he gets me all jacked up. I'm like, yeah, I want a Kindle Fire. I'm gonna get a Kindle Fire. And all I did was use it to watch Netflix. That's the only thing I did with my Kindle Fire after like the first week. And, I eventually got rid of it. And that's where I'm in this thing with the 3DS and the Vita. I'm like, I'm going to watch a lot of Netflix on this, I'm sure, because I'm too lazy to walk to the other room and turn the TV on when I can lie in bed. And I don't know, like the 3DS already has this amazing DS library, and the price, this is what makes the decision so hard. For the price that I could pay for a Vita, like if I was to spend all the money on a Vita and a game and a memory card, and I would have to at least get a 32, because 4 gigs, I mean, if I was downloading games, Uncharted would take up almost all of that right away. Yeah. But the 3DS, all that money could buy the 3DS and games.
Yeah.
And like DS games, like I want to go back, and part of me really wants to play Dragon Quest 9. Is it 9 or 10?
Yes.
9. Okay.
I think 9. Yeah.
9.
Yeah. So I'll never beat it. I'll probably get 3 hours into it, but I just want to own it. I just want to have that. I just want to have that nerd credential, Like I want to be able to say, yeah, I got that game. I played it.
Well, I guess. Do you have an iPhone, right? Not an Android, right?
Yeah, I'm an iPhone guy.
Okay, so you have an Apple device. I heard another podcast mention this, and they were struggling with the fact that you have a phone that does lots of things, and a DS, which clearly has a different function than a phone. And the PS Vita is adding a third device that you would need to carry around. So one of those is going to be eliminated. So someone like Tony, for example, like got rid of like an iPod Touch. So I feel like if you're going to be getting rid of a touchscreen entertainment device, it would be a really good idea to like swap and put it towards the Vita, because it's going to do everything that handheld device does and have buttons to play games with. But again, you keep coming back to price. So when you want your dollar to go farther, you should get a 3DS. Plus, all of us will have a 3DS, so we can play games together.
That's a pretty big selling point. Okay, final thing, and I'll let the conversation move on. Which one do you guys think, and this could be a whole discussion segment, but just right away, which one do you guys think will have the better library / shelf life? Like, which one, if I buy it out front, is going to last longer in the long run? Like, the Vita's hot, it's new.
It's not selling very well, though, right now. I think it'll do a little better in the States, though. But, Dustin, what do you think? Which one is going to have, I guess, the more success?
I would say that the 3DS is probably going to be the most successful, just based on the fact that the DS did so well with the PSP not doing very well at all.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm trying to say that, relative to what the expectations are, because the 3DS, we all knew was going to sell more units, but we'd want to have it, like relative, to try to make it an apples to apples as much as we can. But you do think that it'll be the 3DS?
Yeah.
Nice. I'd have to agree, but I don't think the Vita is going to be this colossal failure, because look how, the perception of the 3DS is so different now than what it was when it first came out. That looked like it was going to put Nintendo under at first.
Yeah.
So, I think they'll both end up being pretty cool, successful systems, and I think I'll end up liking the 3DS a little more when it's all said and done. Because the second version of the 3DS is going to be really awesome.
Yeah. I hope Sony just really buckles down and puts out software for the Vita, and they don't try and do some ridiculous like PlayStation Home or start iterating on the hardware every other year like they did with the 2000, 3000, and PSP Go, because then people are going to lose interest.
Yeah, they need to make it really compelling to want to play some of the games that they have. And they know that. They have to. They're a gaming company. Or they're an electronics company, but they have to know it's about the software. And I think that they'll get it right. There's people that just love the PlayStation because there's some really good games, so... but yeah. Alright, yeah, we can move on now. And unfortunately, what sucks is all I have to talk about really is the 3DS that I got. So, before we actually get to that, I did want to mention that last weekend, I went to a fighting tournament, at Gamer, the local gaming store that I mentioned last week, and it was a lot of fun. It was really, really cool. And I'll be going again this week. Unfortunately, I can usually only make it to the earlier fights, and those are at 3 o'clock. And I think this week they have, I think it was King of Fighter 13 is what they're going to do early, and do Mortal Kombat again late at night. I am really, really, really bad at Mortal Kombat 9, but we played a little bit of Soul Calibur 5, and I'm still decent at Soul Calibur. I still can actually not embarrass myself on that, which is kind of cool. Because all the people that were there, I was the only one that just had no clue how to play a fighting game, really. But everyone was really nice and really cool, so I'm really excited to actually go back and hang out with everybody again this week. So, wanted to mention that and say hey to everybody at Gamer that may be listening. And then also, I have been playing some Renaissance of Fate. Dustin, do we want to actually talk about that on the show much at all, or just kind of save that for the YouTube segment?
Well, we can just use it to plug the YouTube segment. That's
cool, yeah. So we'll talk about Resonance of Fate a little bit. Did I say Renaissance? I don't know. Resonance of Fate, whatever it is. It's a game published by Sega. We're doing it for YouTube. But so I bought a 3DS, and it's pretty incredible. I've got to admit, I'm falling in love. I'm turning into a Nintendo fanboy right now with it. Maybe that novelty will wear off, but as of right now, I'm really impressed. The Super Mario 3D Land, it does seem to be a pretty short game to get from beginning to end. So I'm actually trying to play my way through that game really slowly. You can unlock levels like you can in all the other Mario games that are on newer systems. But it's good, it's well executed. It has me excited about buying some more levels. I will do that gladly. Mario Kart 7 is probably the coolest 3D I've seen in like I don't know, an experience. The 3DS for me is the novelty of the 3D starts to just feel natural. I don't know how to say it. It stops feeling like, holy crap, this is in 3D and I'm just playing a game. I don't know. And it doesn't look like it's in 2D. It just feels natural unless I like shake the screen, and if I go off center it goes all wonky. But I don't know. Dustin, what do you think? You've got a 3DS. Does it lose the 3D gimmick for you and just start to feel a little more natural, or is it just because I'm blown away?
No, it just you stop realizing eventually that it's doing what it's doing.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
haven't had
nearly.
ice. Oh, sorry.
It's not nearly as headache-inducing as I expected it to be.
I was just gonna say that I haven't had any eye strain issues or anything like that. I thought I might get like a vertigo feeling or some dizziness or disorientation, and I haven't had any of those issues. So, also what I have played download wise is Twin B. I mentioned this a while ago as a game that was coming out on the eShop channel that was on the Famicom, and it never came out over here. And Twin B is a really stupid name and a really amazing game. It's just a fantastic shoot 'em up. So, Dustin, have you played Twin B or seen anything of it?
Yeah, actually, that was one of the first games I downloaded. It's surprisingly difficult, but it's good.
Yeah, I love it. And do you have a Pushmo?
I don't, not yet.
That's a mistake. It's incredible. Do you like puzzle games?
Yeah.
It's amazing. For anybody that hasn't played Pushmo, I've only heard it talked about. I've never heard it described. It's a really unique 3D puzzle game, and essentially all you do is move blocks either forwards or backwards, and these blocks are in various odd shapes. They can look like stairs at times. They can be little tiny squares, and it's incredible. It's really addicting. It's really fun, and the 3D's executed really well. I think that's what's really fun about it. At times it's almost like jumping in Cubert, but there's no tricks, with slanted lines or anything like that. It just looks like you're jumping on a platform. It's cool. So, also I downloaded Cave Story just purely to support that game. Have either of you guys tried that? I know I've brought it up before, but I forget if you guys have played it.
I haven't, but I've heard really good things about it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll get around to playing it on the 3DS. I'm about done with it on PC, so I'll probably just finish it that way, but it's one of the first times I've bought a game just to get a sale out there for the game. I enjoyed it so much on PC that I was totally cool with paying $10 just to have it on my 3DS forever. Dustin, what's been something that's, I guess, surprised you about the 3DS, and what's something that's kind of disappointed you?
Its user interface. I think it's when you turn it on, you being able to use it is pretty similar to the Wii. The way it has, just kind of channels set up there for whatever you want to use. So just to be able to navigate the eShop channel using that is really intuitive. And I don't like some of the... What don't I like about it?
I don't like the design of the system itself. I understand that it has to remain portable,
yeah,
but it's not really all that comfortable to hold.
Yeah,
for a long amount of time.
Yeah, you end up with the claw because your hands are
open up. And I've got smaller hands, and it's still a problem for me. So, what's cool, the CTA Digital thing, I was shocked at how much I liked that add-on. The best way I could describe it is it feels like my DS is now that it's basically like holding a Genesis controller, which makes it really, really comfortable. I'm surprised that Nintendo didn't come out with something that would cradle it a little better out of the box. Because the charging station that comes with the 3DS, mm-hmm. It seems like that was a really good opportunity to just tack on just some comfortable handles on the side of that and make a little cradle that comes with the 3DS.
Yeah.
I mean, it came with the charging station. Why not just make it comfortable to hold? So I don't know. That's the biggest thing that bums me out is it's not that comfortable to hold. But I didn't mind the placement of the D-pad. I've heard people complain about that, but it's not that weird at the bottom left. Mm-hmm. What do you think? What do you think about that? Have you had any issues with it?
No, I didn't know people were complaining about it. I don't know. I don't see any reason why anybody would.
Yeah, maybe it was just from when they first released the design, and I heard some complaints and it just stuck in my head. Maybe they're not real recent. So, But all in all, I love the system. I hope that it lasts a long time. I hope it's durable. The biggest thing is it feels like a very nice piece of electronics, but it feels, I don't want to say fragile, but not something I'd be comfortable giving to a child.
Yeah.
Unless they're like real responsible. So, Gooch, hopefully your son is a very responsible young man.
I like
or
to
you're
think
buying a second one.
Yeah, he takes care of his video games. We had a pretty good agreement. Like, hey buddy, this thing was hell of expensive. Don't break it, because that's the reason.
It goes away if you break it. If you don't take care of this, it's gone forever. So sweet. Well, yeah. I mean, I've been up to some other stuff gaming wise, but really, other than Resonance of Fate and 3DS, the 3DS is really, really cool. I really like it. The games at $40 a pop though suck. I'm really excited for price drops in games that have been out for a while. I know Mario won't get to those, but eventually Rayman Origins will be like $10. So, good deal. Well, Dustin, what have you been playing this week?
I was watching a Rage Quit over on Rooster Teeth, and he was trying Trials HD. And
man.
I picked that up here recently, and I was playing it. And the levels themselves are really entertaining. The game is good, and it's really fun attempting to beat other people's scores, because as you're going through a level, it's showing you everybody in your friends list how they did on the level, and whether or not they're beating you or you're beating them. So that was, I spent a few hours doing that. And I got into, I think, the medium levels. And that's when it starts to get a little crazy, where you have to like do backflips, and you have to be able to stop and start, like stop on a dime and know when to stop, and then get a little bit of speed going, but not too much. And yeah, it's a good game. I'm pretty happy I picked it up. Also, I got Nano Assault. I'm going to end up reviewing that. I got that from Tony, and it is a shooter for the 3DS. And if are you guys familiar with Stardust HD on the PS3?
Oh yeah.
Nope.
It has levels similar to that, and Stardust HD is essentially, do you know Geometry Wars?
Yes.
It is like that, but the level is a sphere. So as you move, you're moving around like this planet.
Cool. And
Nano Assault is it has levels very similar to that. It has levels that are, I'm trying to think of maybe like was there a level in Yoshi's Island where there was a very large monster and you kind of ran around the monster?
I've only played the first few levels of that game. Or first couple levels, that's it. So I have no idea. Gooch?
I was not a Super Nintendo kid, so I don't know.
But there are also levels that are like Star Fox. You kind of have a backwards perspective of your ship, and it's you have a crosshair on the screen, and you're kind of moving around that way. And of course, all this is all 3D, and it really helps add to the depth of the game, and both in visuals and in the experience. And lastly, I played a little bit of Far Cry 2, and mainly because it was absolutely free for PS Plus members on PSN. So it was a free download, and if you're not a PlayStation Plus member, it is $10. And that is a fantastic deal, because that is a really good game. And for anyone who is curious about it, I actually put up a video of it on the Hupog Gaming Zone website.
Oh, nice. Sweet.
So you guys can check it out and see what all the hubbub's over.
Good deal. Well, guys, I think we are ready to get to the interview segment. Do you have any objections to that?
Sounds good.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, everybody, again, we have Richie Branson on the show, and Richie is a rapper and producer from San Antonio, Texas, and he recently released a mixtape called The Cold Republic, and it basically is samples and beats made from the Old Republic soundtrack, and the lyrics are based around subject matter from the MMO, the Old Republic. So, I just, man, Richie, thank you so much for coming on. I had a lot of fun talking with you. I think our listeners are really going to enjoy the interview. Now, I need to apologize to people. I screwed up a little bit on the audio, so it sounds a little hollow. That's completely on my end. I had some screwy recordings set up, so my bad, Richie, and my bad listeners, but it still sounds pretty good. At this point, I think that we'll let everybody listen to our interview with Richie, and here we are.
Call me Emmitt Sith. Watch me run the ball. 100 million credits playing for the Frog Dogs. Jedi hating on me, cause I run the block. These ladies love me lots, cause I'm a juggernaut. Call me Emmitt Sith.
All right, everyone, and welcome to the long gone interview segment. We finally brought an awesome interview back onto Classic Elite. As you just heard me promo and gush about, we do have Richie Branson on the show. What's going on, man?
Oh man, I'm great. Thank y'all for having me. Yes, Richie Branson in the building, live in action.
We can't thank you enough. The Star Wars The Old Republic subject matter and the Cold Republic is amazing. Gooch and I have been texting about it all week, so we love it, dude. So for those of you that are wondering a little bit more about Richie Branson, I said I would hold off, and let him do some of the explaining. Richie, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your musical background, and then I'm going to pick your brain a little bit about your gaming background.
Well, it all started when I was in 5th grade. I took a music class and my mom bought me a recorder, so I learned how to play the recorder. Then I went to middle school and I played alto saxophone. I was a band geek. Got into high school and I still played alto saxophone, but I guess in high school, you got the marching band type of thing, and I wasn't really feeling that authority, it was like they had ranks, and I almost felt like the military, but with saxophones, and I'm like, I'm not really digging that at all, so I quit band. And eventually my senior year, I took a music theory class and learned how to write music. Then eventually I started composing piano music, actually, before I really started producing. But in high school, it was a little crew that I was a part of called The Booth, and it was full of guys who would pop lock and, dance and stuff, and kids that would freestyle, rap battle and whatnot in the courtyard during lunch. So I wasn't really good at rapping then, so I was the guy making beats on the soda machine with my pencil, while everybody was flowing and whatnot. And, it was really cool. I definitely owe a lot of my musical endeavors to that little environment I happened to be a part of in high school. Went to college in Houston. As y'all know, Houston is the home of screw music and all that good stuff. Rest in peace, DJ Screw. And really started doing a lot of producing out there for a lot of the kids that stayed in my dorm room. My mom got sick. She got breast cancer, so I had to move back to San Antonio, my hometown, and kind of take care of her and whatnot. And started making beats out here. And eventually, me and my cousin, we formed a production company called Red Prodigy Productions. We ended up producing a single that hit Billboard called Homegirl. It's a very vulgar song, but it definitely hit the Billboard Top 100 Hip-Hop and R&B. Stayed on the charts for about 19 weeks. It was a really good experience. I think Rick Ross, The Dream, and Bun B, big Grammy Award-winning hip-hop artists, they ended up getting on the remix and they ended up doing a lot of production for a lot of other labels. I did some work with G-Unit, did some beats for Sony Music Entertainment, Jive Records, produced a couple of more songs for Def Jam, as a matter of fact. And really, a lot of this I've been doing as a producer. And after seeing the success of Bone, that's my friend who ended up getting signed to Def Jam, I decided I wanted to be a rapper. It seemed like rappers get more money than producers quicker. Okay, yeah, and so I ended up deciding I would rap because rappers get show money. I was really just trying to say, screw it, I could be a rapper. And, I recorded a few songs and they absolutely sucked. I mean, they were garbage. But as I kept going and honing my skills, I got pretty good, decent, I guess. Made this song called Jersey Shore Fist Pump. Got rave reviews, got a lot of views on YouTube. A couple of major labels ended up contacting me, including Sony Red. That's the same label actually that Odd Future is signed to. So, it ended up getting a pretty good buzz. Mike Barrow, he's an executive at Universal Republic. That's where all of Young Money and Drake and everybody, that's the label that they're signed to. They actually flew me up. I got into the Universal building. It was an awesome experience. We shot a video to the record. Put it out there. So if y'all Google Jersey Shore Fist Pump, you'll probably see about it. It was a pretty good experience, but that type of music, it's good, but I have a lot of interest, and I was like, let me start rapping about the things I like, because I just seem to have more fun doing that as opposed to making what everybody else likes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's sort of I guess, brief synopsis of the musical background and sort of where I am now.
Very cool. So now, the reason that Richie's on the show is he is a big-time gamer. And Richie, before we talk about how you decided to actually meld the gaming world and the music world together so nicely, can you talk about where your gaming passion started from and how you grew up as a gamer?
Well, I mean, the gaming passion started at a very early age. I was fortunate to have parents that loved Sega Genesis, and they wanted to see me in the house playing it as opposed to going out there in the streets. So when I was young, they got me my first. Actually, I had an NES before that, but I was so young. I remember a little bit about it vaguely. Recently, I've been playing a lot of retro games, though, so I've sort of been refreshing my memory on the NES games. But I remember Duck Hunt. I remember sitting next to my dad while he was playing Mario, and he sort of taught me how to play video games. Eventually, my grandfather got me a Super Nintendo, and to me, Super Nintendo is the all-time king console of role-playing games. I've been in love with role-playing games since I was little, and so when I got the Super Nintendo, it came with The Legend of Zelda, the one that came out, A Link to the Past.
Oh, yeah.
Very good game. That was the first game I played in the 16-bit era. Fantastic game. I loved it. Ended up playing all of the Squaresoft games on Super Nintendo. Chrono Trigger, which is my all-time favorite video game ever.
Nice.
Secret of Mana, Final Fantasy III. What other games? Earthbound. Just a lot of, ended up being more of a role-playing gamer since I can remember. Although I am definitely in love with fighting games as well. I'm a legend at my local movie theater. When Tekken Tag came out on the arcades, they had a Tekken Tag tournament arcade cabinet in the lobby of the movie theater. And my record is, I don't know how many victories I've had, but I've never lost. It used to be so epic. People would gather around and line up just to beat me, at the local movie theater, and I just never lost. But, I mean, I was just really good at Tekken Tag.
Sweet.
Yeah, and eventually, I moved on and had my first MMORPG experience actually with Star Wars Galaxies. I was a gunslinger. I can't remember what server I played on. No, Bria, that was the server I played on, but I had a character named Nino Brown after the infamous Nino Brown from New Jack City. And it's pretty cool. I really enjoyed the MMORPG aspect. I kind of moved on from single-player RPGs, actually, to the MMOs. I played World of Warcraft, EVE Online. I tried DC Online for a little bit, but I didn't really care for it. Anarchy Online, and now Star Wars The Old Republic. Actually, it's been waiting years for Old Republic to come out. I was really excited about it from the jump, actually, and it was definitely, I was more than thrilled when it finally came out a couple months ago.
Let me ask you about that. Is your Star Wars fandom or enthusiasm strictly because of the MMOs, or are you a Star Wars fan just in general?
I am definitely a Star Wars fan. In fact, the prequels that came out, I was at the 12 a.m. showing for each prequel. I still have the movie tickets from each one. I've been interested in Star Wars since I was young. My father was a big Star Wars head, so it sort of rubbed off on me. My personal favorite out of the whole bunch is actually The Return of the Jedi. That's my favorite Star Wars movie. Second one, actually, and a lot of people will probably think it's blasphemy, but I actually like Revenge of the Sith almost as much as I do Return of the Jedi.
I like Revenge of the Sith a lot, too. I'm with you there. I was really surprised by that movie.
Yeah, because episode 1 was, man, I mean, I liked episode 1 for Darth Maul. Like, he was badass, you know. He was really great. Other than that, the movie was, yeah, it wasn't as, I guess, dark as the usual Star Wars affair. Then I like Attack of the Clones too, actually. That was a really good one.
I think I liked it because it was, I was so disappointed that it was Anakin as a little kid the whole time, and I only saw The Phantom Menace one time because I was disappointed in it, and I've seen Attack of the Clones a few times, and it's not bad. I remember visually, though, when that movie came out, being so impressed that I think that's always going to resonate with me. I'm always going to remember, like, wow, that was an impressive movie.
Yeah, I think the highlight of that movie was when Obi-Wan was investigating the clone army that was being built, and he had that short little duel with Jango Fett. I thought that was a very impressive just sequence of events. It was, you know, sort of gave you the idea like, oh, something very epic is about to happen, you know. They really did a good job of developing the story in Attack of the Clones.
No, I would agree with that. I'm really excited because when here in the next week or so, my girlfriend and I are going to go see Phantom Menace in 3D before it leaves theaters, and I was shocked that she even wanted to go see it. I wasn't planning on it, and she's like, "Are we going to go see that?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, I have to take that opportunity." So, are you going to go see them, or have you already seen them in 3D?
I was actually going to see it Friday, the day and it's funny because I released the Cold Republic the same day, but I ended up sort of sticking around on the computer trying to see how it was moving, seeing what kind of feedback I was getting, so I ended up just not going. Although I do intend on seeing it, especially because of I think it would be a very great 3D movie because of the pod racing scene would probably look pretty good. I think a few other segments would look pretty good too.
Yeah, even though it wasn't shot for 3D, since they're going frame by frame, they might be able to figure something out. So, well, anyways, so speaking of the Cold Republic, this is the mixtape that Richie has released. And you can get it right now, free to download at RichieBranson.com. It's really easy to find, just RichieBranson.com. And, Richie, tell us, about the project, the Cold Republic, how you got the idea and, you know, kind of eventually bring it into how things are going with it.
Well, to be honest with you, I'd never in my life just planned on that happening at all. I've been doing a few nerdcore video game type of songs, you know, once in a while. Like I did one about Sonic the Hedgehog and, well, the Genesis era Sonic the Hedgehog. I think after Sega Genesis, Sonic just sort of fell off. But I did a song about that. Did a few, you know, a lot of the times just in my mainstream music, I do have a lot of game-related punchlines, a lot of them, just because that's just usually what I relate to.
Yeah.
But it never was really my intent to do a project on it until I got the Old Republic. I had started it up, and, you know, I went through the character creation screen, logged in, played it for a minute, and then I ended up getting off of it. I forgot what happened, but I didn't get to play it that long. But I came back to it. I logged in. I went and microwaved the Hot Pocket. And while I was microwaving it, you know, on the little thing where you select your character, that's when the main theme, the Old Republic, starts. And I remember I was heating up the Hot Pocket, you know, I'm like, all right, let me get in here and kick some ass with my Sith assassin I just created. And I remember hearing the Old Republic theme playing. It was so epic. I immediately, as soon as I heard that choir come in, I was like, yo, I've got to make a beat out of that, sample it, and rap on it. I don't care. And really the first song I recorded was The Cold Republic. And it wasn't really a Star Wars. It wasn't all the way Star Wars. It was sort of just me, typical mainstream type of rap with a few Star Wars references sprinkled between. But the song came out pretty good. A lot of people liked it. Some people were like, it's not Star Wars. It's the beat's tight, but I think the lyrics weren't really Star Wars enough. And I'm always the type that take criticism well. I'm a true believer in never thinking that I'm the best at anything, and I'm always learning. So I was like, okay, if they want Star Wars is what they're gonna get. So then I recorded. I made the Jedi Knights beat the next day. But the crazy thing is, after I dropped the Cold Republic, it got a lot of views. It made it on a few big gaming blogs, like Massively, I think. Joystick covered it. And what ended up really making me feel like, oh man, I got to do a whole mixtape was when Mark Grisky, that's the actual composer of a lot of the Star Wars Old Republic music, he actually tweeted me and he left me some comments on the YouTube like, hey, I really like what you're doing with my music. And to me, that was like, I was so stoked. I'm like, this guy, I played Knights of the Old Republic, and I know he's composed music for both of those, part 1 and part 2. And so it was really surreal that, a kid making some music and posting it on YouTube within a day would get feedback from the actual composer. Wow. So it inspired me, and I was like, yo, I'm going to do a whole mixtape about this. So I made the Jedi Knights next. And it was all about, just being a cool Jedi Knight, flow colder than the weather on Hoth. Is that a new speeder? Yes, the fastest one on the lot. And just really have fun with it and started really just digging in and making the kind of music about Star Wars that, I used to be scared to make that kind of music, but I was like, screw it. That's what I like, and that's what I'm going to make. I think my favorite song on the Cold Republic has to be, it's a tie between Emmitt Sith and Looking for a Group. I think everybody likes Looking for a Group the most, though.
That one, well, Skywalkin just lyrically cracks me up, but the Looking for a Group just, I don't know, like it cracked me up the whole intro, but then when the beat comes in, I think that's an awesome song. I picked that one when you're like, everybody likes, I'm like, oh, looking for a group.
Yeah, and it's because it's so true. I made that. I was sitting online. I was in the Imperial Fleet, and I see all these people getting ready to go into Hammer Station, and I'm like, yo, I'm looking for a group. I'm trying to get up in that Hammer Station. What's up? Who's down? Nothing. Crickets. But people would be like, we need a healer for Hammer Station. Oh, we need a tank for Hammer Station. I'm like, I can do some damage out there. And I even asked a few guys. I whispered, y'all need one more for your group? They're like, no, you can't heal. Sorry. I'm like, man. So I was like, screw it, and I just started playing Hub-Bop.
That's funny.
And the funny thing is, ever since then, I've never done a Flashpoint. I just wait till I'm a high enough level to solo them, just for the sake of doing it. But it just takes too long right now to really get a group together. Sometimes you'll go up to the little dropship, launch thing, and there's nobody there. It's just really hard. I know if you join a guild, it's probably a little easier, but I don't know. I think they need to do a little bit better on the looking for group mechanics in the game.
We're gonna have to get you and Gooch hooked up. You guys can do some co-op together. Well, I don't know if he's you're Sith, right?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely Sith.
Then I don't know what he is. I don't remember. So hopefully he's also Sith. And you guys can maybe meet up and do some damage. Yeah, so as far as the Cold Republic goes, the reception has been pretty good since there was a hint at it, but how have things gone since the entire mixtape has been out?
Well, since it's been out, when I put it out, it got back on Massively. It got on a few of the big MMORPG sites. It's been pretty good. I've been getting a lot of good feedback. actually, the crazy thing that really shocked me is the day I put it out, within about 2.5 hours, a reporter from the local Fox station in town called to set up an interview about it. And I'm like, whoa. Wow. So I have to do that. I think we have that set up for this coming weekend, but
Cool.
I was just really, humbled by the fact that a lot of people loved it. I've been seeing the people on Twitter talking about it. A lot of these websites are talking about it, and they're actually not just putting it up, they're listening to it, and in their articles they're talking about specific songs and even quoting the lyrics.
Yeah.
And so, it was really great. It's been really great so far. I don't think people were expecting it, especially from a guy like me. I've definitely have a lot of roots in the mainstream recording industry. And so to break away from that and do a completely, nerdy mixtape about Star Wars probably really took a lot of people by surprise.
No, I love the tagline that I've seen you have that says that you're proof that like a nerd or a geek or a dork can get signed or something like that.
Yeah, I put that up after the whole situation with them flying me out to give me a single deal for that song. It was crazy to be able to fly up to New York and sit in the same table that Drake sits at, looking over, plans for releasing a song and having, an actual industry executive, Mike Barrow, he's big, he's really been tutoring me and putting me, in the right places as far as the music is concerned. And even he's been like really on board with the whole Cold Republic movement, and that's crazier, to have actual, not just the underground and the grassroots movement of the nerdcore scene, but actually have industry people looking at it and saying, hey, what's going on? What's this about?
You of all people know how powerful the presence on the internet is. I mean, if you get fans, then they're gonna love you. So, I mean, industry executives have to pay attention to that. When you see something like with, SOPA, when people started messing with the internet, everybody got on the same page and uproared and said, oh no, I don't think so. So when you have some fans, there could be a really big translation where you could show some real data and be like, look, you guys might want to pay attention to these guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm looking to be like how, when Lupe Fiasco, he represented for the skater scene when he released Kick Push. Yep. I wanted to do the same thing, but for the gamers and the nerds. And, I really want people, not just nerds, but the whole world to see what we're about. Because right now, the nerdcore movement as it exists, it's nerds making music for nerds, and I've always called my music nerd cool because, I try to make music that nerds are going to feel, but I'm trying to do it to a point where I can gain an audience just of everybody. Nerds and non-nerds. I want everybody to feel it, It'd be so awesome if you caught on and everybody starts trying to wear hats with Ness on it, and all these confused people are walking around because you got these gamers coming up to them like, oh, right on, man, Earthbound or Smash Brothers, and people are like, what? Richie Branson? Yeah, Ness. Yeah, like I'm like, what? And that's exactly, the thing. It's funny because a lot of people look at me, especially in my hometown. The rap scene here isn't really mainstream yet. I'm actually the only artist in town, at least in the hip-hop scene right now, with an actual, record deal type of situation going on. And, people see me releasing this nerdy music, and they're like, what the hell? What's going on? And I went on tour with DMX a couple of months ago, and that was crazy. I actually went on tour with DMX. I ate lunch with him, just really kicked it with him and his people. And, to see a nerd in that kind of environment, it's crazy. It's really crazy, man.
So I heard a rumor that there is the potential for a video game to be made that you'll be involved in or around you or something like that.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's happening. This is actually the first time I'm actually publicly talking about it, but I've actually made a Mugen fighting game called Richie versus Capcom. I've even made my own character, so you can actually play as Richie Branson, and I have special moves like the Richie Blast, the Raging Fist Pump, and what's the other special move? It's on the tip of my tongue, but I've got a few special moves in the game. It's got all the Capcom characters. It's basically like Marvel versus Capcom, but it's Richie versus Capcom, all original. The kicker is, it's 10 stages, and you actually play through each stage, and there's a song for each stage. Nice. So it's actually a video game mixtape that you can play and actually experience my music while you're kicking ass. So what I'm calling it is the world's first mixtape that kicks ass, literally.
I was wondering what that was. I see on your site Richie versus Capcom, and I saw that. I thought that it was just going to be a bunch of like Mega Man or like DuckTales remixes or just a bunch of mixtapes where you're rapping about Capcom. I did not expect the game to be actually related to that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I've done pretty much 90% of it. All that's left to do now is the music. I think the hardest part of the whole thing was balancing the characters because, Capcom is definitely notorious Capcom and SNK, both of those companies, very notorious for having extremely unbalanced fighting game characters, because some characters just absolutely destroy the competition with, and others you just would never pick in your life.
Yeah.
So, I went in, there was a few characters that they were too strong, to where people just, and I am a really good fighting game character. I mean, not character, but player. So for me to not be able to beat some of these characters, I was like, wait. Let me tone it down a little bit, make it a little easier.
Yeah.
But after working out all the kinks and whatnot and getting the balance together on the characters, everything else was smooth sailing. I know a little bit about programming in C++. I know how to code HTML. I actually coded my whole website myself. So the actual coding aspect of the game wasn't that hard, especially with the programs they have available that manipulate the Mugen fighting engine. So it wasn't too bad, but I think now the only thing left to do is just the creativity of the music. So I downloaded a whole bunch of Capcom game music, so it'll be all Capcom video game samples that I'm using. So it'll be pretty cool.
Very, very cool. Do you have any sort of a goal of when you want to try to get it released by?
Yeah, the way things are looking right now, it's going to be before the end of March for sure.
Oh, wow.
Within a month to be out, yeah.
Oh, awesome. We will have to let everybody know as soon as the game is released. You'll probably see something on our site about it. And make sure to check out RichieBranson.com. You'll be able to check things out when that's actually live, which is fantastic. Well, Richie, that's all of the questions that I have for you right now. I want to thank you so much for coming on. Your story is really, really interesting. I absolutely love that you're proof that there's really good taste in music, and I think that from a gaming perspective, that is, and that there's a lot of chance for some really creative crossovers. So we at Classic Elite wish you the absolute best, and cannot thank you enough for coming on.
Well, I just want to thank you as well. It was a pleasure. I just want to give a quick shout out to my server, Vinzalo. What's up? You can, if you guys are playing Old Republic, come check me out. I'm level 40 right now. My name's Branson, and I'm on the Vinzalo server. 9 times out of 10, you'll see me in Hutball. I'm an awesome Hutball player, like really, really, really good. Like, if they have a Hall of Fame for Hutball, I will be in there, statue and all. So, feel free to check me out. Website, RichieBranson.com, for the updates. I'm actually going to be, if I see enough buzz about episode 1, I'm going to start on episode 2. I think this time it'll probably be more than just me on that mixtape, so be on the lookout for an exquisite cast of characters in episode 2 of the Cold Republic series. Be on the lookout for Richie versus Capcom, and that's pretty much all I got, man. I'm just really thankful for the opportunity. Thank y'all for listening. Just keep up with me. You can follow me on Twitter at Richie Branson.
All right. Well, thanks again, and we will be right back with some more of episode 81.
Yeah, Branson. I'm thinking of a master plan. Just landed on Caravan as a slave with a stick in my hand. I'm trying to level up and be the illest Sith in the land. I'm stacking credits to buy a mansion on Alderaan. I started off as a Jedi Guardian till I fell in love with the Sith robes and cardigans. And maybe it's cause I got a habit of slaughtering the competition. Her ball, pass me the rock, I gotta win. Eyes redder than Caravan cause I'm so high. Cover your ears when you see my speeder blow by. And like the winged beast on Alderaan, I'm so fly. And when I hit the cantina, ladies say, oh my. It's cause they know I'm such a beast on the flow. And every bar I spit is gold like C-3PO. Forget the Jedi code, I'm rolling with the Sith. I'm cold like the Republic I represent. Richie, yeah, I'm looking for a groove.
All right, everyone. Well, we hope that you enjoyed the interview with Richie as much as I did conducting it. And Josh, I know that you didn't listen yet, but you should be feeling really, really jealous right now that I got to do that.
I am. Oh man, I was so pissed when I had to text you and say I can't make it. And yeah, because I mean, they're the only songs on my on my iPhone right now. I'm having a hard time talking. So yeah.
I didn't know enough about the Star Wars side. Like he is a big fan, so he was. I needed you there for the knowledge side, but he was a really cool guy nonetheless, and was very patient with my lack of knowledge, which was great. So, thanks a lot, Richie. And Dustin, let's kick it over to you to our YouTube highlight segment.
Alrighty. First off, we got our Kingdoms of Amalur review. I finally got that finished and posted it a few days ago. So if you are curious at all about what Gooch was talking about earlier with the looting, then go ahead and head over to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/user/classiclead and check that out. Also, we threw up our very first episode of Max HP, which is a sort of a take on Let's Plays where it will be Scott, myself, Tony, and Shintai of YouTube fame talking about a specific RPG per series, and this series is going to be focusing on Resonance of Fate for the PS3 or 360. And it's a gun-based RPG. It's been pretty cool, so go check that out for more. And also, Gooch recently put up a official HD texture pack demonstration on PC for Skyrim. And for Hapag Gaming Zone channel, as I said before, I threw up my Far Cry 2 video, and someone else threw up a Mass Effect 3 multiplayer demo. So that came out
Mass Effect
recently.
3. Yeah, now I know that neither of you played it and you're not going to, but have you heard any of the comments as far as the positivity or negativity towards it?
I haven't.
No. Gooch, have you paid attention to any news or opinions?
Completely tuning it out.
Nice. You've been able to avoid it. Good job. I've heard it's cool so far. Feedback's been overall pretty positive. Like with any demo, there's going to be some complaints and whatnot, but sounds like Mass Effect 3 is going to have a pretty successful launch and in life this coming year. So that's pretty cool. Well, sorry, I jumped in there on you, Dustin.
You got excited.
Yeah, I did. Well, I totally forgot. I knew that there was a big news piece that I wanted to talk about and ask you guys about that I didn't, and that was it. So, what else do you have for us for the YouTube highlights?
That's pretty much it, unless Gooch wants to talk any more about his texture pack video.
No, hopefully I can do more of those, because it was kind of fun to just record something and post it raw. I've never used Fraps to just record the audio while I'm playing the game at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes editing so much easier, because I'm not trying to match up an audio track and a video track. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I hate that.
I don't know if you guys do like I do, when I'm trying to record something like that, I got the audio going and I'm playing the game and I just shout, "Now!" into the microphone. Or, I'm talking to myself, I'm like, this is the moment where I'm going to sync up the video now, trying to spike it. Something to visually let me know that's what that's the point where I got to match it up. So go Fraps. Go Fraps. Oh, by the way, I put up the Simpsons arcade review for the Xbox 360 version.
Yeah.
When I did that review, I recorded myself playing through the entire game. I mean, because it takes, 30 minutes? And I'm going to upload that to YouTube. I'm not going to do anything special on there, but, for a lot of the kids who, they suck because they're not as old as we are, they don't remember it, so they can watch the entire thing in its entirety for free on YouTube, and they don't even have to buy the game. Boom, you got the whole experience right there.
I'll pay you $10 to do a commentary track.
You're going to pay me $10 to do a commentary track?
No.
Oh.
No. I was just trying to get you as excited as I got about Mass Effect 3 demos. So, good deal. I'm still going to try to do some retro reviews. I mention that every week. Anything else on the horizon from either of you guys with YouTube?
The Nano Assault demo I'm definitely doing. Other than that, sky's the limit.
Nice. Well, let's check out our one comment from last week, Dustin, and then we'll kind of wrap up the show.
Alrighty, it's from British Steel, as per usual. He says, Nintendo Legend is onto something, unless you consider a DS card a cartridge. You don't see cartridge media outside of Leapfrog stuff for preschoolers. And that's one thing that I forgot to consider. I always forget those exist. Gooch, did you ever had any of those for your son?
Maybe. There's been so many things that we've bought for him. I'm pretty sure we had at least one of those Leapster devices at some point. And then it ended up in a yard sale about a year later, as they always do. Because there's a new one, and it has new games.
With completely different proprietary technology?
Absolutely, and it doesn't look any different. They're like, this one's so much better than the last one. I'm like, why? They're like, it takes one more battery. And I'm like, sweet. Do they come with it? No, they don't.
So we'll eventually just become our parents, where we're like, you already have a Nintendo. What do you need a Super Nintendo for?
No, you already downloaded that game, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, British Steel goes on to say, consumer electronics in general have been pushing away from proprietary accessories for quite some time. Digital cameras use standardized memory cards. Pretty much all of today's cell phones use a USB port and SD cards. Even if Nintendo has their own quirky format for optical disc, because Nintendo was like that, it's still a reflective disc read by a laser just like a DVD. So I agree, cartridge media is pretty much synonymous with retro gaming. Industry standards are the norm these days, and cartridges aren't that.
Makes sense. That's said very well.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, British Steel, thanks a lot for writing in. We appreciate it very much and look forward to him every week. And what the heck, Balzac? I told you to write in. I was talking with him on Steam, and he didn't write in, so whatever, man. We'll get some Shank played though. I won't hold a grudge forever. So, well, I guess that's it for the episode. So, just need to give a quick partner shout out. The hardware sponsors of the show are Doghouse Systems, so make sure to level up at doghousesystems.com. Hapog and Avermedia, a big thank you to them. Games are sponsored for the show by Gamersgate.com, J2Games.com on live, and as well as Gamer, the retail store in Findlay. The sites to check us out at are glitchedout.com, gotgame.com, new site, Gamefire, Reviews on HD, and of course you need to check us out on the Yoush.com forums. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, like our Facebook page, subscribe to YouTube, and I think we will see you guys next week for episode 82.
Cipher Agent Cipher, Branson, Let go. Word to my server, Gonzalo in the building. Cipher Asian cloaked and I'm following and I'm killing anyone who gets in my way. I'm an imperial villain and I'm always finding groups cause I'm really good at healing. Cipher Agent Cypher, operative a sniper. Richie spit that fire like it's straight up out the lighter. No, I'm not a Sith, but I rep that empire. Our clothes are the flyers, that's why they all like us. Like a pit viper, Richie spit that poison. Flow hot like a pot on the stove that's boiling. I be killing tracks and you know that I'm enjoying it. Like a blade straight in your back, you know know I'm going in. Main chick on Alderaan, side chick on Korriban. Both of them adore me and support me cause they know the plan. Represent the Code Republic, everybody know the brand. Young spitter with the wisdom of an older man. That's why they love us, nobody above us. If I run into trouble, I'm shooting and running for cover. I break through like a blockade runner. They mad cause I'm hotter than a tattoo in summer. They try to put me under, but they need a miracle. Haters couldn't see me if they wanted, I'm invisible. Pledge allegiance to the Code Republic, indivisible. Hut ball, Hall of Fame, my game is unforgettable. My wallet stay fat like a Hut's belly kid. I got a fast ship made by Corellians. I got the latest gadgets, never irrelevant when I'm on a mission to gather empire intelligence. I'm a secret agent, my gun plays amazing. I'ma win in any situation. Word up to my brother Darth Kazin. Much appreciation for helping with Hammer Station. When I'm in battle, I'm doing a lot of damage to the Republic side on Alderaan. I'm taking their cannons. Speak Imperial standard when I'm talking flagrant. Welcome to the life of an Imperial agent.